Okay, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Donna, and I'm many things to many different people. Mostly I'm a blogger, like to think I'm a world traveler when I have the money, friend, daughter, sister, but most commonly I'm known as someone that suffers from chronic migraines. I've suffered for about 15 years, and the reason I'm sharing this now in this format is because I have a lot to say and I thought I would give this a go. Normally I write down what I'm feeling, when I feel it, or when I'm allowed to feel it. But I thought I would give this a go. Now, the only reason I have any kind of social media in the first place is because of the blog, and in today's world, it's a necessary evil. But I had a lot to say, and I thought sharing it in this format might be interesting. So for those of you who don't know, chronic migraines are described as experiencing a migraine 15 or more days a week. I'm sure you've seen commercials for Botox on TV. As I like to say, I've been getting Botox since before it was trendy, before it was on commercials, before most people got it. I started in 2013. It has been the biggest saving grace of my whole life. Actually gave me my life back. And in that time, so many things have changed. Like I said, I've been suffering for about 15 years, and when I say suffering, I mean suffering. I couldn't leave my house. I couldn't brush my teeth on a daily basis. I could barely form a sentence. A lot of that time is a big blur to me when it was really in the dead heap of things. About 5 years ago is probably my worst point. Because of the drugs I took to try to alleviate it, because of the pain, a lot of my memories don't exist. The things I remember, even the good experiences, were because I had a migraine then and I was trying to pretend on the outside like everything was okay. Those people that really knew me knew I was suffering, but chronic migraines and a lot of neurological disorders are invisible illnesses. Invisible because on the outside you can't see the amount and depth of pain you feel on the inside. I don't have a broken arm, so I'm not walking around with a cast. Might be a little pale, might look out of it. A lot of people take that to mean that you're disinterested and not want to be where you are. Mostly, on the inside, it feels like you're just holding on with every fiber of your being to stay alive. And if I'm being perfectly honest, there were plenty of moments, usually in the middle of the night, when I prayed that I wouldn't be. That I prayed that what I had wasn't a migraine, but an aneurysm, and that it would burst and it would all be over. Because you can't imagine surviving that kind of pain. And when I look back at those days and those memories, obviously still very painful for me, I think about people that had worse illnesses than I do and how they survived those and those kind of struggles, and made me feel bad for feeling sorry for myself. But I wasn't really feeling sorry for myself. I was being honest with myself. I like to think that those experiences made me a better person, a more compassionate person. And I've been very blessed that in the last maybe 2 years, those terrible days are long gone. I've been weaning off all of the daily preventative medication I used to take to combat these migraines, which of course still broke through those drugs, and still had to take a slew of other drugs once the pain actually got to a point where I couldn't take it. Actually weaning off my very last preventative medicine in the next couple of weeks, and it's sort of mind-boggling for me. The thing about a chronic illness, especially one like mine, is that it has ebbs and flows. There are some good days, there are some bad days, there are some nightmare days. But as I've been getting better, I think I forgot about just how bad a bad day can be. Not that I forgot. Like I said, I still have those very vivid memories of the handful of times that stand out. But I got cocky, kind of. The reason I bring this up is because yesterday I had one of the worst migraines I've had since last July. I can tell you it's since last July because that was the last time I took one of my actual pain pills. Last July, it was a family event. That's why it sticks out in my mind. It was a family christening of a cousin who I love very much and was very excited to celebrate this big, enormous day with them. I missed the church. I barely made it to the party, and I probably shouldn't have been at the party, and if it had been anybody else, I might not have even bothered to show up. I was white-knuckling it the entire time. How I got dressed and anything sort of amazes me, but I guess when there's a will, right? And that sticks in my mind. Maybe since then, on a handful of occasions, I've taken an anti-inflammatory when the tension in my head started to really come down too much, but that is usually due to weather. My particular strain of migraine hates changes in barometric pressure. Rain, snow, sleet, whatever, can't stand it. But even on those days in the last year or so, I've been able to completely function. I'm working on a cookbook. I've been able to still cook, do whatever I was supposed to do during the day. Might need to take a few breaks, but I was functioning. This past November, I took a Tylenol for the very first time since I was probably small and had a fever. It was brought to my attention by my mother that when I had this headache that I complained about in the morning, and then again at night, after a full day of still moving around and doing my thing, she says to me, Donna, did you try Tylenol? Tylenol? No. Tylenol wasn't a word in my vocabulary. If you have a real migraine or a real migraine disorder, Tylenols aren't your friends. They're Tic Tacs. But I tried it, and it worked. It turns out I had my first actual headache. Period. Headache. Not a migraine. And I'm bad at this, but I've always said, I've used the wrong terminology. I've said that I've had a headache, but actually what I had was a migraine. And not even a regular migraine, a migraine on steroids. But I had an actual headache. Blew my mind. This is what people are complaining about? This is why people can't leave the house, can't function? Oh, honey. I would take a headache permanently every day the rest of my life if I never had to deal with a migraine again. But yesterday, I had a migraine. And it was full blown. I had a very busy weekend. Something that in my past would have triggered me automatically. But this migraine, I don't really know why it is. I'm due for Botox. I get it every 3 months. Yes, it hurts, but yes, it's worth it. And no, it's not like you see on television shows when you get 3 little pricks. I get 41 injections all throughout my head and down my shoulders. I endure the pain because it's by far less pain than my full-blown migraine attacks. So yesterday, I was tired. I slept in a little. I'm a writer. I have very strange hours. I also suffer from insomnia on occasion. And so I sleep when I can sleep, and when I can't, I can't. But yesterday, I started to move around and do a few things and realized that my head was building. It was pounding. My body also tends to want to sleep when it's in pain to try to, I guess, let it pass before I'm fully conscious, but that didn't happen. I started to cook. If you see any of my Instagram feed, the Queen Blogger, hashtag Dinner a la Donna, I cooked anyway, but I couldn't eat it. The smell of the food made me sick. Another thing that my head likes to do to me. And then that was it. I literally had to lay down. My head stopped me from doing anything else. I brushed my teeth at night for the first time during the day, and it wasn't even a good brush. It wasn't the kind where you floss and really rinse. It took every fiber of my being to do that, and that gave me a major flashback to the days that had passed. It was the first time I had to be stopped in my tracks because my head won. It wanted what it wanted, and even laying down, the room was spinning. I constantly felt like vomiting. I could not even watch The Real Housewives as a means to distract myself because I had to pay attention too hard. My head wasn't in the mood for that. If you don't know about The Real Housewives, it's not rocket science, but it was a struggle. Everything was a struggle. I went to bed at 10:30 at night, something, again, I don't often do. And woke up on and off, but got up early this morning. Normally, a migraine hangover is what you experience the next day after a bad migraine. It feels like you got hit by a truck. God willing, the pain has broken, because if not, you've got bigger problems. Like making sure you're not going to have a stroke and figure out how to break the pain. But your body has been through an ordeal, and so you can't do very much. I did a lot this morning. I'm trying to take it easy on myself because I feel a little bit better, but I don't want to push it. My body hasn't gone through that kind of pain in a while, and I don't want it to go backwards because it can re-trigger a new migraine. I just had a lot of feelings about yesterday. It was the first time in a really long while that I was worried I couldn't break the pain. I had tried my anti-inflammatory early in the afternoon, and by early evening, maybe 6 or 7 o'clock, I had to submit and take a Zomig, which is what I take for pain, for migraine. It's not an opioid, but it's what I call a pain pill. And it was a strange feeling. I also didn't know how pertinent they would be because I hadn't refilled them in a really long time, which I've now since done. And for a little while, it was hairy there because I didn't know that it would work. And then I didn't know what to do because I didn't really have all those pills I used to take as my next steps on hand. And of course, it's 8 o'clock at night. My neurologist is not in the office. Where are we headed with this? But it broke. But people that take migraine pills, pain pills, will know that if you don't take it from the very beginning, sometimes it doesn't work. Or it just takes that much longer to work because I, of course, made my body go into a full-blown attack when I probably should have stopped it sooner. But life doesn't always work that way. So I'm just sort of sitting in it, thinking about my life. I really want to write a book about my experiences, but I don't know that I'm in an emotional place yet to do so. But I'm learning that with chronic illness, it's a journey. I thought this part of my journey was over, but it taught me that it will always be there. No matter how good I'm doing, my migraine disease will stay with me forever because I know it's a possibility. And I hope to never be at that point again where I'm taking 25 pills a day preventatively that are doing disastrous other things to my body, but I have no choice because the neurological disease I was born with trumps everything. Try to take good care of myself mentally, emotionally, physically. And whatever brought it on yesterday can bring it on again in the future. I just have to always remember that I am more equipped than I think to deal with these things. And so I'm sitting here in the spot in my house. If you were to walk in my house, I'm sitting on my living room couch because I'm either A, watching TV, or B, writing, or C, doing both, which is a large part of my day. I don't know that I'll be blogging today, trying to give my head a break, even though it's frustrating AF, as I'm trying to get out some things I'm a little bit behind on, particularly my annual to-do list for New York City things. But it is what it is. And being a migraine warrior will always be one of those things that I am. And I hope to do it with a little bit of grace and a little bit of compassion for other people suffering. So I hope you guys have a good day today. And maybe I'll be sharing more through my YouTube channel, which I've had for a long time, but like I said, haven't been using. So, till next time, guys.